Howdy do and howdy do, Skirmick Gaming here, and welcome back to another Pokemon strategy guide video. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit different. I'm a bit sick, but I wanted to get a video out before I left town for Christmas, and I'm sorry I wanted to do a Super Mario Run video the other day, but I just was feeling really bad and, wasn't really feeling up to it, but I will try to get a Super Mario video, the new Mario Run game. I'll try to get a video out on that as soon as I can, but it may not be until 2017 because I will be out of town. So I apologize for that sincerely. But anyways, let's talk about Necrozma, Necrozoma, whatever, however you want to say it. It's probably Necrozma, okay? But this Pokemon, I didn't think it was that good when I looked at it. Because unlike most of the Ultra Beasts, who really have a stat spread that really gives them a purpose, this actually has a higher stat total than most of the Ultra Beasts. However, it's just, they're sort of spread. It doesn't really have a niche, but there is one thing that's actually good about that. It makes it a very versatile Pokemon, since it doesn't have a niche. It could be a physical attacker, it's got a decent attack stat, or it could be a special attacker. It's got quite a good special attack stat. 600 stat total, same stat total as most mythical Pokemon, although I think it's considered a legendary. Decent speed, that's workable. It also gets Trick Room, that should be said. So its speed is low enough to where it could work as a Trick Room setup, or it's also high enough to where you could invest in speed and actually get it to outspeed most threats. But let's look at the moveset a bit more. Oh, and its ability and typing. Okay, so it's a pure Psychic type, which is unfortunate offensively, just because it's only going to get, like, Psychic Stab. That's the main downside to this. But it's not a bad typing defensively. You've got a few resistances, and you've only got 3 weaknesses. That's not too bad. It probably would have been better for like a much more offensive typing that has more weaknesses. Just saying, if they gave it a typing that was really not that great defensively, but pretty amazing offensively, that would have been better, I feel. But Psychic typing, that's fine. But when we look at the ability Prism Armor, it reduces the power of super effective moves used against this Pokemon by 25%, which is the reason I say that it would have been better if they gave it, a typing that sort of is not that great defensively, but it's really great offensively, because then it could really make full use of its ability, and you could toss a weakness policy on there. That'd be great. But it only has 3 weaknesses you have to worry about. So, I mean, make of that what you will. Sorry for that. Anyways, it's got a really good moveset, actually. It's got a lot of versatility. Like how I said, the stat spread really allows for a lot of versatility with this Pokemon. It's got, like, a pretty wide moves pool. Like, just look at all this. It's got viable recovery, whether you're playing in Pokemon Sun or Pokemon Moon, in Moonlight or Morning Sun. So if you're playing Sun, and you usually play during the day, you're probably going to want Morning Sun. Or if you're playing Moon and you usually play during the day, you're probably going to want Moonlight. Just whatever you prefer. But it's also got Charge Beam, so it's got a lot of setup moves to raise its stats as well. Like, if you look here, it's got Atomize, as well as Stealth Rock if you want to set up entry hazards. It's got Iron Defense. I think it's also got Calm Mind, Toxic, like Screen Protect. It's got lots of good status moves. It kind of reminds me of Clefable, which is one of my favorite Pokemon. One of my favorite fairy types, not gonna lie. So if you wanted to use it with a somewhat Clefable-like moveset, you could do that. But just looking at all the moves, there's just so much you could do. It's got so many things that could change the battle in your favor. Like Gravity, it's interesting. It could be useful in certain situations, but Trick Room, I definitely think, is a good move for this thing to have, because not that many Pokemon get Trick Room, and it could definitely, change the outcome of a battle, significantly. But anyways, let's hop into Pokemon Showdown real quick. Alright, so here we are in Pokemon Showdown. Here I was talking about the weakness policy. It does complement its ability very well. I just kind of wish this is one of the very few instances where they should have given it a typing that allows more weaknesses. Like whenever they give, I've noticed there's lots of Pokemon this generation that have, very poor typing defensive-wise, like Decidueye. But the thing is, weakness policy doesn't always work with Decidueye because Decidueye doesn't have great defensive stats, honestly. Although it could, if you have like a defensive Decidueye, it could work. But let's talk about this. This is the setup sweeper moveset. This is the one that kind of reminds me of what I would always put on my Clefables. I love stored power as a move, especially on a setup sweeper. I always use this set with Clefable. Basically, Calm Mind, Double Team. I use Minimize on Clefable. Sorry for the sirens. The cops are coming to get me. Actually, I think that's an ambulance or a fire truck. I don't know. Okay, Morning Sun. See, like, I would always use Recover on Clefable, but yeah, it's basically, I had Calm Mind minimized. No, not Recover. It was, Soft Boiled. Calm Mind, Minimize, Soft Boiled, and Stored Power is what I would always use on Clefable. And that was one of my favorite Pokemon. So you could also do that on this. You could also swap Weakness Policy out for Leftovers. And this is basically what the set I would use on a Clefable. And you could also go, this is a very versatile Pokemon, so I'm not even going to come close to, like, covering all the possible viable sets for Necrozma. It's really good. It's a really good Pokemon. It's really, I underestimated it when I first looked at it. I was like, this doesn't even have a niche. It doesn't really have a dedicated purpose like all the other Ultra Beasts do. But actually, that's what's so unique and great about it that I like. It's kind of like Mew. It's got a huge move pool. But anyways, yeah, just looking at this could be like a bulky setup sweeper. Basically, you could have the full health and special attack investment, have Calm Mind, Double Team, Morning Sun, and Stored Power. So you have lots of recovery options, and then just hit hard after you get yourself set up with Stored Power. This isn't going to work all the time, but it could work a lot of the time. Often. But this might be my favorite set for this thing. Just the introduction of Z crystals is just absolutely great. It is really especially useful for high power moves that have a downside. Basically, you have a super powerful move that has a downside. That's great. That Z crystal is the perfect thing for that. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not wrong, when you use a Z move, it doesn't have any of the downsides the move you're using normally has, but it does retain the power. Which is why if you use Psychium Z on Prismatic Laser, that's going to hit really hard. Not to mention that it's a stab move, so it's going to knock out most things. And then you could also increase your speed to make sure you hit first with Rock Polish. The reason I use Rock Polish over Automize is there's a lot of Pokemon in this generation that are useful, like can use Heavy Slam effectively, like Celesteela. You don't really want to make yourself lighter. I guess Grass Knot is still popular, but I don't know. Are you going to be more concerned with Grass Knot or Heavy Slam? It's up to you. But also I use Rock Polish because it has much more power points, so you can use that as many times as you like, pretty much. Prismatic Laser, you can use that with the Z move, and it'll be especially effective. Morning Sun, I just put Morning Sun on all these sets because I usually play Sun. I have both games, but, Flash Cannon is going to be a decent high power special attack move for, like, if you don't want to use Prismatic Laser after you use your Z move, just because of the fact that it'll lower your special... No, wait, actually, it'll make user cannot move next turn. But yeah, you can use either of those. It just gives you some extra coverage. This is the tank build. It actually has Calm Mind and Iron Defense, so you could use that as well as Morning Sun. This is similar to this set. You could also use Weakness Policy or like a Lumberry for this as well. Those are both good items to have. As well as you could go full health investment as well as special defense, just because its special defense is a bit lower. Depends what like you're facing that's giving you more trouble, physical or special attacks. But there's also Trick Room setup Pokemon. This is a good one. You just basically get a nature that reduces speed. If you can get one with the least amount of speed as you can, it could work well as a Trick Room setup. It could work well. As well as you could also use the Z move on the Prismatic Laser, Morning Sun. And Power Gem is also a decent rock-type coverage move. It has decent coverage as well. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios, amigos.